The atheist paladin thinks he knows the Bible better than me, or for that fact, many of us other Christians. We're gonna school this cat too. Him and ZJ both. These cats are jokes. Okay, so let's watch it. We're gonna cut in clips of his video.
So the first thing that was quoted at him was Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. So obviously he didn't read that part, because it directly states that those people that you purchase or that you take from the nations around you are to be your property for a lifetime.
Let's school this cat. Let's take a look at that verse. Both the bondmen and the bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be of the heathens that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren of the children of Israel ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. Alright, alien residents not having any land inheritance might be merchants or hired laborers. Some were slaves, as Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, where was a possibility of their becoming wealthy. Leviticus 25, 47, Deuteronomy 28, 43, generally, however, the law classified them as among the poor and outlined arrangements for protecting and providing for them. So, as again you fail. These people, I would rather, back in these times, it's not like, once again, I'll bring up the Starbucks and the sprinkling of chocolate and vanilla frosting on their Frappuccino or whatever. They didn't have these kind of options like we do today. And once again, it is also a choice. So it's not like the Jews went out and forced these people into slavery. These people chose to become that. So you're making a point here, and you're trying to falsify a position that does not exist. Let's move on. Here we will further prove atheist dishonesty in quoting Scripture, for if you go on 2 more verses, and if a sojourner or stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him. You see where it says sell himself? That means they had a choice. Now when we go back to chapter 44 or verse 44, where it says of them shall ye buy bondmen, it's because they sold themselves. They had a choice in the situation. If you were in a poor situation and you needed help, that was the best way to do it back then. People were happy to go into that situation. You're making a false position that people were being forced in a lifetime of slavery when they chose to, and they were happy and got rich by it. And sometimes the brothers of the Jews even sold themselves unto the strangers. How does it feel? How does it feel?
Even if we give him that argument, the lesser of 2 evils is still evil.
If it's so evil, why then did they sell themselves unto the Jews? You fail.
If a man is just taking a Hebrew person, then this is the situation. This is the most likely interpretation, because again, there are many unequivocal points which states that as long as they're not Israeli or ancient Hebrew, they're from the nations around you that are heathen, you can just go ahead and take them.
You're trying way too hard, and you are a blatant, bold-faced liar. As the scriptures have as I have just showed earlier, it said ye may buy bondmaids and bondservants from the land round about you and the heathens. They sold themselves. They had a choice in the matter. You're trying way too hard. You're way out in Deep Space Nine with this crap that you're coming up with. Why is it so hard for you atheists to admit you are wrong? These people sold themselves. Nowhere in the scripture does it say you can beat the hell out of these slaves and kill them and do all the other things that you would not do for the Jews. Nowhere does it say that. You're being intellectually dishonest.
For man stealers, actually, the word is to bring a man to his feet or to his foot. There's a lot of suggestion that this is enslavement. But according to Blue Letter Bible, it says, one who unjustly reduces a free man to slavery. One who steals the slaves of others and sells them. So,
okay, you have two different versions. One who steals a man from one who makes a free man into a slave, which is an enslaver, as I said, and another one in stealing a slave and selling him, which is punishable by death under Mosaic law. My source says the Greek word is andropodistes, I believe. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, and it says an enslaver, bringing men to his feet, men stealer. So let's see what you had to say. I don't even think there was really even a point in you bringing it up.
Either according to this word is only used once, so we have no idea really to get the full context of how the Bible is using it.
If you have no idea, why then did you bring it up as if it's an argument against my argument? How sad.
So somebody who steals the slaves of others, or takes, if I go down the mall and steal someone there and then sell them to slavery, this is the most likely the context. Again, this is the most likely the cultural context.
Do you even understand that what you have done was just agreed with me? I said the capturing and selling of slaves is punishable by death. Going to a mall and stealing a person and selling him is capturing and selling a slave. You're trying so hard that you are contradicting your own self. Now he takes way too long to explain the next point, which is like 3 minutes left, or like 2 minutes left of his video. I'm going to do it for you. He's pretty much saying that in Deuteronomy 23, 15 through 18, or 15 through 16 is what I said. He's saying that he doesn't know whether or not this is for mistreatment or whether or not it's for the Jews or the outlanders or the strangers from the land round about. Well, the Bible doesn't specify anything, so your job is not to limit it to the Jews or to assume that it's not for mistreatment when these people chose to be slaves, and it says both the Jews and the strangers even can wax rich by them. How then do you go about saying it's not for mistreatment or some type of scandalous action? So the moral of my point here is that, one, you cannot limit the Bible to simply the Jews when it does not state simply the Jews, to make a false position favoring your stance as the Bible's word being evil when we know that the Bible's word is good. Secondly, why would people run away if they weren't being mistreated and they weren't getting paid, or they weren't being waxed rich? So either they were being mistreated or either they were being waxed poorly, as the Exodus scripture that I gave talked about. No, the Leviticus 25 and 48 or 47. And that's just the bottom line on that note. So the point in bringing this up doesn't even refute my point. It was pointless